Have you ever felt like life is spinning you around in an endless whirlwind? Why do we constantly chase after deadlines, messages, obligations, and still feel empty inside? Is there truly a place, a quiet corner, where we can reconnect with ourselves amid the chaos of daily life? If you've ever sighed after a long day and wished for just a moment of peace in your mind, you're not alone. All of us long for something that seems simple yet so hard to grasp: inner peace. But what exactly is this elusive calm? Is it some mysterious state reserved only for monks meditating on mountaintops? Or is it something real? Something we can actually cultivate, even while living busy, stressful, and chaotic lives? Buddha once said, "Peace comes from within. Do not seek it without." Let that sink in a world that's always online, always on. Finding even one quiet moment can feel like chasing a dream. Our lives are bursting with obligations, anxiety, and the never-ending pressure to do more, be more, achieve more. It's like trying to find a moment of silence in a loud, crowded market. But what if I told you that peaceful corner isn't somewhere out there? What if it's a space you can access anytime, right inside you? A steady, grounded place within, untouched by the chaos of the outside world. Picture this. You've had a terrible day at work. Everything that could go wrong did. You come home and the house is a mess. Your kids are fighting, the TV's blaring, and all you want is a single moment of stillness. But it feels impossible. That feeling of being overwhelmed, like your inner state is a mirror of the outer mess, that's the opposite of inner peace. So how do we bridge that gap? How can we learn to tap into calm even when everything around us feels out of control? To answer that, let's look under the hood at your brain. This miraculous organ, weighing about the same as a block of tofu, contains trillions of cells, including roughly 100 billion neurons. These neurons aren't just sitting around. They're constantly sending messages through tiny connections called synapses. Imagine a vast network where information is zooming around at lightning speed. Every thought, every emotion, every sensation you experience sets off a flurry of activity within that network. And here's the amazing part. You can actually influence that process. That brings us to a broader idea, the concept of the mind. Your mind is all the information that's buzzing around in your brain, from stress signals and memories to your personality, hopes, and even your ability to understand these words right now. And the key idea is this: what happens in the mind changes the brain, both temporarily and long-term. It's a two-way street. Your brain shapes your mind, and your mind can reshape your brain. One famous principle says, neurons that fire together, wire together. That's how the brain learns, adapts, and heals. Buddha's words aren't just poetic, they're practical. When he said, "Peace comes from within," he was showing us that inner peace is a skill, like strength, discipline, or compassion, and it can be trained. That's a powerful realization, because it means we're not helpless passengers in our minds. We can intentionally shape our brain's wiring, creating thought and emotion patterns that lead us closer to peace and well-being. And guess what? You don't need a neuroscience degree to begin. You just need to observe your own experience and begin to shift. But if we have this power, why does inner peace still feel so hard to reach? Well, part of the answer lies in evolution. Our brain was designed not for happiness, but for survival. In the last part, we explored how our brain, though wired for survival, often keeps us in loops of worry, distraction, and craving. That same survival mechanism that helped our ancestors spot danger is now the very thing that feeds our anxiety and robs us of peace. Let's look closer. You see, our brain is constantly scanning for threats, even when we're not in actual danger. That constant scanning, it often shows up in our lives as chronic anxiety, a low-level tension we carry without even realizing it. On the flip side, our natural craving for pleasure keeps us chasing things, experiences, recognition, comfort, but those highs are often fleeting, leaving us feeling hollow and restless. It's like drinking salt water. The more we consume, the thirstier we become. And then there's the simulator in our mind, always on, always active. It replays painful memories from the past, embedding those emotional imprints even deeper. It imagines worst-case futures that never actually happen. We anticipate disasters far worse than reality, and the joy we expect often feels less satisfying when it finally arrives. This cycle becomes a mental hamster wheel, spinning us into anxiety, dissatisfaction, and a sense of being stuck. So, how do we step off? One powerful answer is mindfulness. Now, let's be clear. Mindfulness isn't about emptying your mind or forcing yourself into some blank state. Instead, it's the art of paying attention, on purpose, in the present moment, and most importantly, without judgment. Imagine your mind as a still pond. Thoughts and emotions ripple across its surface. Most of us fixate on those ripples, letting them disturb the whole pond. But mindfulness teaches us to simply notice them, without splashing around or stirring up the water. It's a practice that lets us observe emotions and faults as they arise, without getting tangled in them. Over time, we start to recognize patterns. We notice the anxious narratives our minds create. We see how certain beliefs trigger certain feelings. We realize not every thought is truth. Not every feeling deserves control over our actions. And here's where the deeper journey begins. Cultivating inner peace isn't just about being present. It's about developing qualities that sustain that presence. Across ancient wisdom traditions, 3 pillars consistently appear: virtue, mindfulness, and wisdom. Mindfulness, as we've just explored, is awareness in the now. Virtue, that's your moral compass, living with integrity, guided by your deeper values. It's about staying grounded in healthy intentions and boundaries. And wisdom, that's the ability to see clearly, the truth about how things really are, and making choices that nourish both yourself and others. These aren't isolated skills, they work together. When you're mindful, you notice your intentions more clearly. That helps you act with virtue. And when you combine both, wisdom starts to grow. So, how can you begin practicing this in your daily life? Let's talk real-world steps. Practice mindful communication. Before you speak, pause. Ask yourself, is this kind, true, necessary, and free from harm? Avoid reacting from anger. Let your words reflect clarity, not chaos. Create your own code of conduct. What virtues matter most to you? Maybe it's patience, kindness, honesty. Write them down. Let them guide you. Visualize yourself being that version of you in real life. Speak from your experience instead of pointing fingers or judging situations. Speak your truth. Share your emotions, sensations, and hopes. When you do, conversations become less about control and more about connection. As your mindfulness deepens, you may notice something profound, a shift in where you rest inside. You begin to experience awareness itself, not just the thoughts or emotions, but the still screen on which everything plays. That awareness is unshakable, calm, steady, and always available. It's here that the Buddha's words ring true once more. Peace comes from within. Do not seek it without. Yes, external events can affect how we feel, but true, lasting peace is an inside-out process. Even when life is hard, even in the face of injustice, fear, or grief, we can learn not to let negativity take root in our minds. That's not denial, it's discipline, and it's deeply powerful. That's why mindfulness is gaining popularity worldwide, and rightly so. It's become part of therapy, education, leadership, but we must be mindful of mindfulness itself. Some call it McMindfulness when it's stripped of its ethical depth and used only for productivity. That approach might ease stress, but it rarely transforms lives. True mindfulness is about transformation, not just relaxation. It's about choosing to live with awareness, virtue, and wisdom, not for perfection, but for peace. And remember, cultivating inner peace isn't a sprint. It's a journey, a long, gentle unfolding. Small steps, taken daily, rewire your brain and reshape your life. Be patient, be kind to yourself most of all. Because peace isn't some mythical treasure. It's a skill, a habit, a way of being, and it's available to you right now, right here, within your own heart and mind. So what's one small step you can take today toward inner peace? Let me know in the comments below, and if you found value in this video, it would mean the world if you'd like, share, and subscribe. That support helps us continue creating content that nourishes your well-being.